Here comes the dawn. Oh, shit, here comes the dawn. Oh, shit,
Sans, my darling, you hurt me real bad.
I've been moving calm, don't start no trouble with me. Trying to keep it peaceful is a struggle for me. Don't pull up at 6 a.m. to cuddle with me. You know how I like it when you loving on me. I don't wanna die for them to miss me. Yes,
On a dark desert highway, cool wind in my hair, warm smell of colitas rising up through the air. Up ahead in the distance, I saw a shimmering light. My head grew heavy and my sight grew dim. I had to stop for the night. There she stood in the doorway. I heard the mission bell, and I was thinking to myself, this could be heaven and this could be hell. Then On a dark desert highway, cool wind in my hair. Swimming in the falls of been locked out of hell for too long. For too long. Yeah, you make me feel like I've been locked out of hell for too long.
Soldier boy, tough. Hey, I got this new damn for y'all called the Soldier Boy. You just gotta punch this and crank back 3 times from left to right. Soldier boy, ready up. Why me crank it, why me roll? Why me crank that Soldier Boy, that Superman, that all why me crank that Soldier, 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 why Soldier Boy, I'm in it. Why me crank it, why me roll? Why me crank that Soldier Boy, that Superman, that all why me crank that Soldier, 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 why Soldier Boy, I'm in it. Why me lean it, why me rock? Superman, that yeah, why me crank that Robocop? Superman, now why me jogging on them hater, mate. When I do that Soldier Boy, I let to left and crank that thing out. I'm jocking on you, jocking on you. If we get the fight, then I'm cocking on you, cocking on you. You catch me at your local party, yes, I crank it every day. Haters getting mad, cause I got me some baby. Soldier Boy, I'm in it. Why me crank it, why me roll? Why me crank that Soldier Boy, that Superman, that all why me crank that Soldier, 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 why Soldier Boy, I'm in it. Why me crank it, why me roll? Why me crank that Soldier Boy, that Superman, that all why me crank that Soldier, 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 why I'm bouncing on my tongue, why me super so dead. That's to a rabbit, he gon' crank it up for sure. Haters wanna be me, Soldier Boy, I'm the man. They be looking at my neck, saying it's through a bang, man. Why me do it, why me do it? Yeah, get to it, no, you can't do it like me, no, so don't do it like me. Oh, I see you try to do it like me, man, that damn ugly. Soldier Boy, I'm in it. Why me crank it, why me roll? Why me crank that Soldier Boy, that Superman, that all why me crank that Soldier, 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 why Soldier Boy, I'm in it. Why me crank it, why me roll? Why me crank that Soldier Boy, that Superman, that all why me crank that Soldier, 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 why
Here comes that bullshit water. 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 Watch him roll, watch him go, watch him roll, watch him go, watch him roll, watch him go, watch him roll, watch him go. He'd be rolling down the street. He'd be rolling with the beat. He'd be rolling down the street. He'd be rolling with the beat. Watch him roll. Shit water. Watch him roll. Shit water. He'd be rolling down the street. He'd be rolling with the beat. He'd be rolling down the street. He'd be rolling with the beat. Watch him rolling. Watch him go. Watch him rolling. Watch him go. Watch him rolling. Watch him go. Watch him rolling. Watch him. Here comes that bullshit water. 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 Watch him roll. Shit 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 water. Here comes that bullshit water. Here comes that
Everybody get up, it's time to slam now. We got a real jam going down. Welcome to the Space Jam. Here's your chance, do your dance at the Space Jam.
Oh, yes.
I don't give a fuck about any of you. I am in this for your money. I only do this show for money. That's it. Alright? I don't do it to entertain people. That's just a fucking scam. I don't give a fuck about any of you. I really hope you die of cancer. I hate every single one of you. Fuck the fans. No sarcasm. No joking. Fuck the fans. Thank you.
Fuck this! I'm on Blog TV with my fucking hands up! I'm not starting my fucking self! You fucking stupid bitch! This stupid fucking justice, all fucking righteous fucking nigger
Burger Pants
is doing this shit! You fucking nigger! I swear to fucking God, I'm gonna. Yo, everybody type in the chat.
Burger Pants.
This is a stupid nigger. Just type in the chat.
Burger Pants.
This is a stupid nigger.
Keemstar. Go girl, go girl. Come on, cupcake. Let me lick the frosted. Let me lick the frosted. Oh yeah, I'm gonna put you in the oven. I'm gonna bake you. Oh, I wanna make it hot. I wanna make it hot. Oh, you're rising. I'm riding. I'm rising. Oh, what's the steam? Oh yeah, attach to it. Attach to it. Turn it upside down. Oh, put the cupcake on my ass. Oh yeah, you're making it good. You're making it good. You're making it good. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I wanna put you on your back.
Can you please tell him to stop for just like 2 minutes? Please. Can you shut up for just like a minute? Well, can you shut up? Oh my god.
Hi, I'm OBNOXIOUS Jackson Crawford. One of the most frequent explanations that I hear given for why someone has become interested in the topics that I discuss on my Patreon-supported YouTube channel, full of more than 600 videos about Norse language, myth, runes, Vikings, etc., is that so-and-so has found out that he or she is descended from some kind of Viking royalty, perhaps an old Viking times Danish king like Harald Blåtand, Bluetooth, or a Norwegian king like Harald Hårfagre, fair hair. But it is not very likely at all that any particular person living today can document a particular connection to an individual living at that time. Now, there's scientific reasons for that I won't get into because I'm not a scientist, I'm a scholar of language and literature. But I'll mention that it's my understanding that you might well be descended from someone 1,000 years ago and yet have virtually no genetic signature from that person because, of course, the further back you go in time, the fewer of the people that you're technically descended of are going to be reflected in your personal genetic material. But again, I'm not a scientist, it's not what I want to focus on. I want to talk about the reason why. Now, we do find, of course, genealogies in Old Norse literature, extensive genealogies sometimes, and in some particular circumstances, those can be fairly reliable. For example, some families in Iceland have pretty reliable records going back several hundred years and can connect known ancestors to known people mentioned in sagas, and then those people mentioned in the sagas might have genealogies that stretch back into the Viking Age. I would say that with each generation, you're going to get a little bit less reliable in those sources, but for Icelanders, there may be some pretty well documentable chains of ancestry, at least going back into the Middle Ages. And then if you have ancestry in the last couple hundred years from very high status people in Scandinavia, right, nobles, very wealthy merchants, or perhaps military officers, things like that. You might have a decent case for tracking your way back to some medieval ancestor that can be documented pretty well. But for most of us descended from the peasants and commoners of the world, I'm certainly one such, there just aren't going to be medieval genealogies, right? There's nowhere that it's writing down, that John the Peasant had another son, John the Peasant Jr., right? Last names are a pretty recent invention in a lot of the world, and Scandinavia, sometimes an extremely recent invention. Notice that in Iceland, that's why the fact it's actually a place that has really good genealogical records. They still don't use inherited last names, but instead use patronyms, right? So-and-so, so-and-so son, or so-and-so daughter. But even on continental Scandinavia in the early 20th century, there were people still going by so-and-so son, so-and-so daughter. For instance, in rural parts of Norway and Sweden, I think Arne Garborg's father was a something son, and that the Garborg last name was a very recent invention of the family. That was in the early 20th century. So, these current genealogy services, Ancestry.com, 23andMe, whatever else comes along, I think that they can do, from what I can tell, a pretty good service when there's a lot of records. But once they start relying on medieval genealogies, for one thing, I wonder where the data is coming from. And when I don't wonder where the data is coming from, I wonder about the trusting it. Maybe a quick word from my friends at Partners at Grimfrost, and I'll rant about this in a little bit more detail for you. So when we do get genealogies in medieval sources like sagas, often the purpose of the genealogy is not recording facts, but rather demonstrating someone's claim to some particular land, some particular title, or showing that this cool person is descended from this other cool person that you've also heard about. So, for example, one of the sagas that Hackett Publishing has published my translation of the saga of Ragnar Lothbrok takes a person who probably is very distantly based on a real person who lived in the 800s, Ragnar Lothbrok, and his sons, like Ivar the Boneless, Sigurd Snake Eye, Bjorn Ironside, who probably are just a little bit more likely to be based on real people than their dad. And, again, these people living in the 800s AD, so early Viking Age, and it's trying to connect them to these deep, legendary, probably not at all historical figures of the mythical saga of the Volsungs. Right, so the saga of Ragnar Lothbrok is actually written as a sequel to the saga of the Volsungs, and it makes Ragnar Lothbrok's second wife, Åslaug Kraka, the daughter of the dragon-slaying Volsung hero Sigurd and the Valkyrie Brynhildr. Now, the legends of Sigurd and Brynhildr, almost certainly, to judge from a lot of literary, and I would even say to literary linguistic evidence, go back centuries before Ragnar Lothbrok. Ragnar Lothbrok himself would already have been hearing stories about Sigurd and Brynhildr as stories from long, long, long ago. And so they attempt to connect him as, the next generation after them. It's a little bit like trying to make me Andrew Jackson's son, or something like that. Actually, the distance is even further than that. It might be more like trying to make me Sir Francis Drake's son. Just because, we might be connected to similar places, or in the case of Andrew Jackson, actually have a real relationship, a little bit more distant. So it's basically made up, right? The connection, it's an impossible connection that he would be their son-in-law. But it's accepted as, quote-unquote, sort of fact in these sagas. And so once you realize that the sagas are willing to stretch those connections and crunch those timelines down beyond recognizability, beyond reasonability, it makes me really question any of them, right? And then you look at a saga like the saga of Hrafnkel saga Frostgrave, and as demonstrated by Sigurd and Roald in the 1950s, you have these genealogies that look really realistic about people who seem very realistically drawn, but the entire story is basically a fiction. So while some works of, especially, again, Icelandic medieval writing, like Icelandic Book, may well contain some real genealogies, they are almost without a doubt mixed with genealogies that are there for self-serving or power-glorifying purposes. Now, I'm not saying that if you have been exploring your family roots in Denmark, Norway, or Sweden, that does not mean that you're descended from some kind of Viking royalty or nobility or some person that some saga was reworked to tell the story of. But I don't think that you can easily document it, and I don't trust medieval genealogies to be even half true most of the time. And I just don't think that without good records being there in the Middle Ages, that something like Ancestry.com 23andMe, although it may connect you to the right area, that it can connect you to specific individuals from back then that there aren't remains of. I'm very skeptical. Now, on a somewhat related note, sometimes I get this weird spiel, especially from people writing for the first time into the comment form on my website saying, like, well, Dr. Carver, you must have some kind of Scandinavian ancestry. After all, you have Scottish ancestry and Scotland was calling the Vikings one time. Yeah, that's true, but I actually don't know and don't care. I've never done one of these ancestry or 23andMe things. Close family members have. I guess it's sort of interesting, but I'm very interested in history without being very interested in, which I think is kind of neat. There's a named ancestry there that I know a little bit about, where he lived, and maybe where he was born, where he was buried, that kind of thing. But you go back 1,000 years, I can't know anything about any of these particular people. So my interest in my own family history kind of expires at the point that I can't really know something about a particular person. And I'm actually the same way, by the way, about constructing languages. Right? It's really interesting to me to get back to Proto-European and realize here are the provable, documentable roots of English and the Slavic languages and Sanskrit and Hindi and Farsi. But to try to connect that to something else, there's not enough evidence there to document it, so I lose interest because what are you doing except speculating? I'm surprisingly unintrigued by that kind of speculating, and also reluctant just to spew speculation at you on this channel. Part of what I want to provide is good information where I have it, and a frank admission of what we just can't know when we just can't know. And genealogy, including probably your family's genealogy going that far back, is one of those subjects. But I hope if these videos help you out in understanding the past, or languages and runes that you're interested in, or Norse myths, that you'll consider supporting me on Patreon. Help me keep these going twice a week for more than 5 years. It's been quite a run. And for now, from beautiful Utah, thank you, my Patreon supporters, and everyone out there, all the best. Hi, I'm Old Norse Specialist Dr. Jackson Crawford. I teach at the University of Colorado Boulder, previously at UC Berkeley and UCLA. Today, my topic is going to be the Aesir and the Vanir gods, and what the differences are, what those differences might really mean, whether these differences really are important in the context of the Eddas, which are our main sources for Norse literature. So let me go over a few of my general points that I often make because they're important to keep in mind as I discuss this topic, even if you've heard some of this before. First of all, the pronunciation I use in my videos is reconstructed medieval Old Norse pronunciation. Linguists are pretty confident about what Old Norse sounded like 1,000 years ago, and it's not exactly like modern Icelandic, even though more people use modern Icelandic pronunciation for Old Norse today than use that reconstructed pronunciation. The main reason I bring this up, spend a little bit of time on this at the beginning of this video, is that I'm going to be saying the word Aesir a lot, and I want you to just know that that's not me mispronouncing modern Icelandic Aesir, which is how it's pronounced today. I'm going to be using the reconstructed pronunciation, which is what I'm using. Aesir is the plural of Os, and that is one of the families of gods. Odin is an Os, Thor is an Os, both of them are Aesir. And then Vanir is the plural for the other family, and the singular of that is Vanir. So Njordr is a Vanir, Freyr is a Vanir, and then they're collectively both Vanir. All right. Another thing I want to point out is let's talk a little bit about our sources. We have the Poetic Edda, which is a compilation of poems written down in about 1270. It is copied from a manuscript written down about 1200. And from linguistic evidence, we have several poems that are older than 1000. That is important to keep in mind for this presentation because I'm often going to mention our poems old as a reason to think that it is a better source for pre-Christian belief. And understand what I mean when I say that it's old, is that there's some kind of linguistic evidence that it was composed long before it was written down. I've talked about that stuff a little bit in my video called Evidence Before the Eddas. I'll put a card linking to that on the top right-hand corner of the screen. And I may eventually make a video that looks at some of the poems and kind of roughly dates them or something like that. That might be an interesting topic in the future. Okay, so that's the Poetic Edda. And there's the Prose Edda, which is the work of just one writer, Snorri Sturluson, born 1178 or 79, dead in 1241. In the Prose Edda, Snorri tries to explain all the myths that he knows in the process of trying to explain how to compose traditional Old Norse poetry. He quotes the Poetic Edda pretty often, and pretty often the information in the Prose Edda is transparently traceable to poems in the Poetic Edda or to similar poems that didn't make it into that particular anthology, and that we only know from quotes in Snorri. But keep in mind, in this discussion, I'm also going to talk about another book by Snorri. Snorri wrote Heimskringla, The History of the Kings of Norway. This book is typically printed in 3 volumes today, whether in the original or in translation. And it consists of several individual sagas of Norwegian kings. And the very first constituent saga of Heimskringla is Yngling saga, saga of the Ynglings, the mythical ancestors of the Norwegian and Swedish royal families. And so, of course, this includes the gods. But in the saga of the Ynglings, Snorri humorizes the gods much more than he does even in the prologue to the Prose Edda. He presents them as human ancestors that people misinterpreted as gods. Nonetheless, the saga of the Ynglings is actually one of our main sources for the idea that the Aesir and the Vanir are particularly different. So I'm going to be mentioning that. Keep in mind, it's another work by our different Snorri. All right, so let's talk about the Aesir and the Vanir after that long series of introductory remarks. The conventional understanding of the Vanir twin children, his son Freyr and his daughter Froya. Heimdallr might be one. I'll talk about the hints about that in a moment. And we can probably count the originally giant or Jotun wives of Njordr and Freyja, Skadi and Gerda respectively, as Vanir by marriage. So, in the saga of the Ynglings, Snorri gives an account of the Vanir as coming from a place in Vanaheimr, named Vanaheimr, that he puts into the geography of the earth. He says that it is the land along the river he calls the Vanakvisel, which he says is from the name Tanakvisel, which he says is from the name Tanais. Tanais or Tanais, that is the ancient Greek name of the Don River in Russia, which was regarded in the ancient world as the boundary between Europe and Asia. Why is this important? Because Snorri thinks that Aesir, or Os, God of the realm of the Aesir, is Asia. He connects those two words in a typical medieval way, looking for etymologies where they don't exist. In fact, the word Aesir or Os is an old Indo-European word connected to a word in Hittite, Hasu, Hasuras, which means king, a word in Avestan, Ahura, which is lord or ruler or god, and Sanskrit, Ashura, which is more a demon figure. It's probably an old Indo-European root meaning creator or something along those lines. Easily becomes words for king or god. Okay, so he's trying to locate them in this land, the Aesir in Asia, and he's putting Vanaheimr along this river, which is the border between Europe and Asia, so close to the Aesir, but not in the same exact place. And he claims there was a great army, and the saga of the Ynglings says a great army of the Aesir that fights the army of the Vanir, that this war ends with them making peace and exchanging hostages. And so Njordr is the hostage who comes to Oscar to live among the Aesir, and then the Aesir send hostages including Hunir, a little known figure who just crops up now and then, including the story of Ragnarok and the story of creation of human beings, as well as Mimir, and along with Njordr went someone named Kvasir. This is actually really different from the story he tells in the Prose Edda in Sköldskaparmál, where he says that Kvasir is created by the Aesir and the Vanir spitting into a vat together. And that is part of the story of this myth of poetry, Odr, which I've covered in another video. I'll link that in the top right. He says that when Njordr and his son Freyja come over as hostages, the daughter of Njord was Freyja, who he calls a priestess. Gideon, the same word. Goddess, but in this Euhemerus context, probably priestess. And it was she who first brought Seidr magic among the Aesir. All right, Seidr magic, which I talked about somewhat in my video about the vulva. Again, I'll link that in the top right. There's a moment up in the cards. Seidr magic is associated with this is lawful among the Vanir, but and for other children. But among the Aesir, it is not allowed to engage in such clear incest. So it's interesting that Snorri traces these sexually shameful acts to the Vanir, both incest and the practice of Seidr magic, pretty clearly distinguishing them as having some kind of sexual oddity about them. All right. Now, if we look at Gylfaginning, the main part of the Prose Edda as far as mythology is concerned, it's interesting to note that the Vanir are barely mentioned as a separate thing. This is the part of the where Snorri's really trying to introduce the concepts of the gods and goddesses to us and their stories, and he barely mentions who the Vanir are as a separate unit. He talks about Njordr, Freya, and Freya, but he doesn't really get into what it means that they're Vanir or how Vanir are distinguished. We do have the part where he's introducing Njordr, and he basically quotes the stanza of Vafthrûd's Maul that says Njordr was sent as a hostage to the Aesir from the Vanir. Okay. Frigg sends her messenger goddess Gno somewhere on an errand, and the Vanir see her riding up in the sky and wonder who is flying there. Once again, I'll cover this little poem actually in another video, so I'll link it in the top right. This is a very lengthful video. So that's interesting. It seems to imply that so it says one time when she rode, she has a horse that rises to the sky. Some Vanir saw her up in the sky. Then one of them said, "What flies there? What goes or passes through the air?" This implies there's a group of Vanir somewhere else, like Vanheimr, that a messenger from the Aesir might go to. And of course, the fact that Vafthrûd's Maul in the Poet Edda says that Njordr was sent to the Aesir as a hostage from Vanheimr also strongly implies Vanheimr really is a different place with a different population of gods that Njordr was sent to the Aesir from. But there are people who are strongly suspicious of the idea that the Vanir are distinct from the Aesir in a meaningful way in the pre-Christian period. And the most notable among them is Rolf Zemek at the University of Bonn, where he's a great guy, and I think that he's got some great points here. So let me also present his side of the argument, or, and I'm not speaking for him, but let me sum up what I understand to be his best arguments for why the Vanir might not actually be originally really a distinct class. He points out that if you look at Old Norse poetry, there are many different synonyms that mean God. The poetry is alliterative, so we have lots of different words that can mean God that we'll use depending on what we need to alliterate in a particular poetic line. There's regen if you need to alliterate with an R, Dinregen or Gold if you need to alliterate with a G, Aesir if you need to alliterate with a vowel or with the consonant Yuk, because all those alliterate in Old Norse tradition, Hopt if you need to alliterate with an H, Bond if you need to alliterate with a P, Tibar if you need to alliterate with a T, and Vanir only comes up in 5 poems in the Poetic Edda, and where it appears, it's always alliterating, just like these other words for God. So could this originally be a word for the gods that gets misunderstood by later writers, including Snorri, to mean some kind of different type of God? It's interesting when we look at the context where Vanir comes up in the Poetic Edda. So probably the most distinct context is in Vafthrûd's Maul, where Odin says to Vafthrûd, the real weaver, the giant that he's having a wisdom contest with, he says in stanza 38, "Tell me this 10th, you must know the fate of all the gods, wise real weaver. How did Njord come to be among the Aesir? He has hundreds of temples and altars, but he was not born among the Aesir." To which real weaver replies, stanza 39, "Wise gods created him in Vanheim and gave him as a hostage to the gods. At Ragnarok, he will go back home to the wise Vanir." So this does imply, again, a separate existence